We welcome the student athletes and head coach Greg McDermott from the Creighton Blue Jays. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach McDermott, then move to questions for him and our student athletes. If there are questions on Zoom, please raise your hand there, and we'll get to you after we've exhausted questions here in Fort Worth. Coach McDermott.
It's incredible. The mental fortitude of this group is like nothing I've ever experienced. There's a toughness and togetherness about them that allows what happened tonight to happen. We were dead in the water the first half, down 14, 15, whatever it was, against a team that's really hard to come back on. I have tremendous respect for Coach Dutch and the job that he's done, the job that Coach Fisher did before him. It's a program all of us would like to emulate because they're about success and they're about doing it the right way with toughness and discipline. And that makes this win even more gratifying because of who we beat. And we had to come back against a team that's very hard to come back against. And our full court pressure late in regulation was really good. We stepped up and made our free throws for the most part. And then we had a devastating loss with Kalkbrenner going down. So this is a little bittersweet, I think, for all four of us at the table because of what he's meant to this team this year and has meant to the run that we went on starting in early February to get us here. He's been a key component of that, and it's unlikely that we're going to have him on Saturday. So couldn't be more proud of this group. It's been an unbelievable ride that I've had the pleasure of being part of, watching these guys grow and learn and do it together. And we've talked about process all year long because we were so young. And as I told them in the locker room, our first 3 games of the season, we were down 9 to Pine Bluff at halftime. We were down 2 to Kennesaw State. We were down 12 to Southern Illinois Edwardsville. We found a way to win all those games, but from where we've come on November 10th to where we sit on St. Patrick's Day is a transformation that I'm not sure I've ever been part of. And it has been one heck of a ride being part of it and an awful lot of fun.
Coach, thank you. Questions for Coach McDermott, Mr. Alexander, Mr. Kaluma, or Mr. Hawkins? Start in the back on the right-hand side.
Trey, you picked up your 4th foul with about 16 minutes left in the second half, didn't come back in until about 7 minutes. What was kind of going through your head in that time that you spent on the bench, and how did you take what you were thinking of and apply it at the end of that game?
Oh, my bad. I mean, basically, I was just trying to keep everybody into the game. I know that Rati stepped up. I know that we had a couple other guys step up, but mainly I just wanted to make sure that I was encouraging people on the bench, not trying to get my head down, make sure that everybody stayed into the game, and was making sure that everybody knew that we could win a game that was very winnable and go on a run that I felt like was bound to happen throughout the game, because I don't think we went on very many runs until the end of the half. But just trying to keep myself engaged and my teammates engaged and just trying to stay in the game.
Let's go on the left-hand side.
Mac, what can you say about what Trey showed you down the stretch today?
I could say that I've seen it before. Anybody that was in Hartford, Connecticut in early February saw it at the end of that game in a very similar circumstance against a great defensive team that applies a lot of pressure. And he just found ways to make plays. And, it's especially hard tonight when your rhythm's upset so much by foul trouble. And we had hoped, I was trying to get him to the 10-minute mark if it got out of hand, the 8-minute mark, and we were able to get him to 7, and then he played the rest of the time. But he's been put into a very difficult role at midseason and what we're asking him to do and what teams are trying to do to take him out of what we want to do. And he's handled it not like a freshman. He's handled it like a veteran. And he's a pretty incredible young man. He gets it. He understands the game. You can tell he's a coach's son. Very high basketball IQ, and as you see, the expression doesn't ever change, and that's a sign of being mature beyond your years.
Front on the right side.
Hawk, was there a point in the second half where you decided that it wasn't going to happen today? This wasn't going to be your last game here at Creighton for the team?
I feel like we decided that well before the game. We weren't ready to go home as a team. I'm not ready to be done playing yet. I still love it. I still love these guys. And, obviously as a spectator, I'm sure you want that game to be a little bit easier on your heart. But those are the games that you remember the most. And I'm just very fortunate I get to play with this group. Very thankful that our freshmen don't play like freshmen anymore. The maturity that this team shows for being such a young group is really cool to see. And I think that was on display the last 6 minutes of that game.
Staying in the front.
Greg, you said Ryan's unlikely to play Saturday. Do you have any idea right now what the extent of the injury is?
We won't know until we do further testing, but it was a knee injury. Doesn't appear to look great, but we'll wait and see what the tests show.
Left-hand side, middle.
After Calc goes down, you guys are still down a couple minutes ago. What do you say to the group to keep them motivated?
Well, again, I was with Ryan on the floor, so these guys were talking to my staff, and just like at St. John's when Ryan Nemhart went down with a season-ending injury, by the time I got back to the huddle, my staff and this group had themselves ready to go, and they were refocused, and they did it again tonight. When I went over there, they knew exactly what they needed to do. They understood the role, and Keyshawn understood the role that he needed to play in Ryan's absence. And we fought and clawed and grabbed and held and did everything we could, and found a way to come out of there with a win. Once again, my coaching staff's done an unbelievable job all year. It's to have Al Huss and Ryan Miller and Jalen Courtney Williams and the rest of my support staff, they've just done an unbelievable job preparing these guys starting back in late June. And in a situation like that, when the head coach is where I needed to be with a player that was hurt and was struggling, they got the team refocused and ready to go.
Back row on the right-hand side.
Arthur, have you had a sec to kind of just process what just happened, the way you guys came back? And, it's called Survive in Advance. Has it kind of set in what you guys were just able to accomplish?
I love my guys. I love this team. I love how we come together in tough times and how we're able to work through a lot of things, a lot of adversity, and we don't splinter off. We're always connected, and you could see it on our faces. You could see it in our staff. You could see it in our eyes when we hoop. It's just on to the next play.
We have a question we'll get back to the room in just a moment. We'll get to Matt DeMarinis on the Zoom. Matt, go ahead.
Mac, Keyshawn, he checks up Pulliam at 30 feet and takes him all the way to the rim, blocks that shot for Trey to go give you guys the lead, and then he comes up with the steal on the basically last chance of the game for San Diego State. Just coming off the bench the way he did, cold, and making those two defensive plays, what does it say about him in that moment?
There's so much to say about Keyshawn. I don't really have time. Ryan Kalkbrenner played 12 minutes a game last year and had a hard time with conditioning, and I think our hope was that he could be a guy that could get to 20 to 22, 23 minutes a game. And we recruited Keyshawn with the expectation that he would be playing 15 to 20 minutes a game, not knowing that Ryan Kalkbrenner was going to make this monumental leap in his conditioning and in his game, and play he's played like an All-American the last 6 or 7 weeks. And so I didn't lie to him in the recruiting process, but what I thought was going to happen didn't happen. And it would be easy for Keyshawn to be bitter because of that. It would be easy for him to try to pull guys down in a negative way because what his expectation was has not matched up to reality. And he's done exactly the opposite. He's embraced his role. He's helped these young guys grow as a mentor to them. And he's enjoyed every second of this ride. And sometimes when I've always believed that good things happen to good people, and Keyshawn's acted the right way all season long. And when you do that, I think nights like tonight just have a tendency to happen, where he makes a big defensive play to ice the game, makes a big free throw to make it 3 points. Obviously he's going to play a huge role on Saturday, and he's ready for it.
In the back on the left side.
Greg, 2 questions for you. Mark Ziegler, San Diego Union Tribune. First, were you purposely fouling Arope and Bradley in overtime? It looked like you were.
We did on the first foul. Yes, we did not purposely. Yeah, Alex O'Connell's not here, but no, we did not purposely foul him. That was not supposed to take place, especially his fifth foul. But we just decided to roll the dice on the other one. We had 3 guys out there with 4 fouls, and we just played kind of the analytics game. And I'm not a huge analytic guy, but I felt like that one was worth the risk.
And in regard to your foul trouble, you left your guys in, didn't go to your bench. You know, is that just trust in them that they're not going to pick up a fifth? I mean, that was a lot of time.
It's part of it's we don't have any bench. You know, like we've got, I don't know how many guys are hurt with a season-ending injury. I guess there's a bunch of them. And, you know, some of those guys that, you know, Modestus Consolaris is the only scholarship player that didn't play tonight. That's the only guy. Everybody else that we had available, scholarship-wise, played. So we're down to 7 for Saturday night. So, number one, I trust him. Number 2, I didn't have a whole lot of choice in the matter.
One more in the room here, and then we'll go back to the Zoom.
Trey, how do you, when in the late moments of those games, keep yourself from letting the pressure overcome you?
I think it has a lot to do with, first off, Mac trusting in me, and then also my teammates. I feel like my teammates have, throughout the season, trusted in me with the ball in my hands and that I make good decisions. And I mean, from then on, I just had to make the right decision. I feel like after that, it's just kind of what you do every day, after practice, before practice, whatever you want to say, the extra work that you put in. I feel like it just takes over in the late moments, and it's not really you thinking about it, it just happens.
Okay. Go back to Matt on the Zoom for one more question.
Yeah, for any of the players, can you divulge anything that you guys were talking about while Mac was checking on Kalkbrenner, just in terms of what you guys said to get yourselves ready for the stretch run?
Trey, you can start on that.
Okay. First off, we kind of got ourselves together. I feel like Hawk was the first one to initiate it, but obviously having somebody go down like that is pretty hard on the team, especially a guy that has been such a big presence on and off the court. You guys don't know Ryan Kalkbrenner. He's a great teammate on and off the court. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. One of the best teammates I ever had in my career, my basketball career. But, I mean, we just brung ourselves together, and then we were just saying that we were going to be able to win this game for him, and we were going to play for him, because we've had a lot of situations where we had to face adversity, and we were just telling ourselves, like, it's not new to us. We have another chance to face adversity and be able to make a big statement throughout the whole bracket play and everything in March. It's just so fun to play with these guys and be able to, you know, play for the guy next to you. And I mean, it was just been a blast this whole season and being able to play with these people.
Arthur, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. To build off what Trey said, Ryan Kalkbrenner is a great teammate. I feel like, fortunately, but unfortunately, we play some of our best basketball after someone goes down. But we stuck together and we pulled it out.
Okay. Ryan?
The biggest thing was making sure we were all comfortable with what we were going to do. That's what I was trying to talk to these guys about, just make sure we had everything, like no miscommunications on defense, because our ball screen coverage had to change a little bit, so we were making sure we were all matched up, just the little stuff like that, instead of sitting there staring at him. You know, they both said it, but you cannot explain how good of a teammate Ryan Kalkbrenner is. And so for that to happen, you know, our hearts go out to him. But we had to make sure that we finished that game out for him. And so that was the biggest thing, was just getting everybody together, talking about what we were comfortable with offensively, and then making sure defensively we had everything buttoned up.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you back here tomorrow and then again for the round of 32.
Oh, yeah.
Go, yeah.
Do we get to take these tags, too?
Actually, I need